This is going to be the single greatest public service announcement that I've ever made in my life. I really hope you take this seriously. And honestly, if you don't enjoy what I'm about to announce, I'll just take it on the chin. Look, I flew halfway around the world to Australia to bring this to fruition. If this doesn't resonate with you, I'm sorry. This is my best attempt yet to give you an unfair asymmetric advantage. And I know that because it's the same unfair advantage that I was given 8-9 years ago after being brought to my knees by a disease that made my esophagus so inflamed I could barely swallow food, after being rejected by a girl that I was just head over heels in love with. Wow, I literally recorded a personal video for her, not understanding male-female dynamics. I literally sent a video to her in like this really low vibe, like really whiny, high-pitched voice in an attempt to get her back. I was literally Edmond Dantes in The Count of Monte Cristo, just with the best of intentions, a heart of gold. But I didn't have the map. And that's what I'm going to give you. In just a minute, I'm going to be giving you the same map, effectively, that the priest gives Edmond Dantes. The same map that catalyzes his conversion to Edmond Dantes to the Count of Monte Cristo. I want you to become the Count of your life. I want you to take Mercedes back. I want you to become the fucking man. And the truth is that you've shown up to an all-out gunfight, unbeknownst to you, with a mere knife. And I'm here to arm you with the weapon to help you fight back against the system that doesn't ultimately love you. Fight back against the society that is riddled with EDCs, endocrine disrupting chemicals. Fight back against the society that has led to the depolarization of men and women. I'm here to help you become your actualized androgenic self, to repolarize yourself with women, to render yourself more attractive to them, to just kick ass in this life. And I want to do that in a really sanitized, streamlined fashion. You know, I was thinking, what is the best thing that I could give you to help you level up as a man? And I was thinking I would start a podcast, bring my friend Luke onto this channel. But I think the greatest gift is going to be streamlined, sanitized information. I literally, this is kind of embarrassing, but I would literally log into my bodybuilding.com forum 100 times a day, just waiting for the response from Luke, who of course lived halfway around the world. So I would have to wait a number of hours because there's a 16-hour lapse between Australian Eastern Standard Time, AEST, and EST, where I was living in Maine at the time, Eastern Standard Time. But I would literally log in 100 times a day because I couldn't get enough. And if you're someone who cannot get enough, you want that same unfair advantage, you want to have a free testosterone that in an incredibly feminized world gets flagged for being too high. I'll show you on screen now. My free testosterone is off the charts, and it literally got flagged as if that's a bad thing. You know, it's like, you're a bad boy, you've got too much testosterone, you're too sexually dimorphic, sit down. If that's what you want for yourself. And to be honest with you, I've never felt better in my life. My sleep score this morning from my sleep tracking ring was 91. I didn't wake up a single time. I woke up at 4:30, like without an alarm. I feel incredibly good, and that's what I want for you as well. I want you to get everything that you've ever wanted in this life. And so if you pull up a tab right now, you open up a tab on your smartphone or your computer, I highly recommend bookmarking alphaactualization.com. We've got one article up now, and I'm having Luke author these articles, as I said, in a really sanitized fashion. This is nothing short of your map to become the man. Your map to find whatever this happens to be in your life, the lost treasure of Spada, so that you can navigate this life more effectively. The first article that we put up, by the way, is the top 10 boosting tips for testosterone. Why did we do that? We did that first because this is the highest leverage thing that you could possibly do in your life as a man. 2, in the words of Andrew Huberman, make effort feel good, but also so that you feel good, so that you literally sleep like a rock and you wake up in the morning as hard as one, so that you don't just act like the man, but you are the man, and the actions just follow that because physiologically you are actually optimized. These are the top 10 tips to actually do that, to actualize your optimized endocrinology. And then from there, we're literally just every single week going to be releasing banger articles. I'm literally going to be reading all of these articles, by the way, that Luke posts, because I personally cannot get enough of this content as well. I find this incredibly fascinating and frankly just the best thing that I've ever encountered in this life. I'll tell you just a few things about Luke, about the author of this article and future articles on alpha actualization, which you can actually subscribe to at the bottom. You can just put in your email so that you stay tuned for future updates, because what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking each of those articles and I will give you some, frankly, like really personal, sometimes even sexual stories, like truthful stories about my personal experience with this information, how it's actually changed my life. And what I'm trying to do is just give you buy-in, show you the alpha actualization process for myself, how that manifested into Jason actualization, and hopefully just to encourage you to actually go on the oasis for yourself, go on the adventure, and to use this map as your best weapon yet, so that you don't bring a knife to the aforementioned all-out gunfight, so that you literally bring a sniper rifle and you know the truth. You know the truth about male-female sexual dynamics. You know the truth about endocrine disrupting chemicals. You know the truth about saturated fat versus seed oils. We're leaving no stone unturned. We're literally going to be telling you the truth that the mainstream media does not know about, the underpinnings, the etiology of cardiovascular disease, which, by the way, the calcification of coronary vessels is the same thing that will result in plaque formation and the stifling of blood flow to your Johnson. So if you want to avoid, if you literally want to sidestep erectile dysfunction, you want to have better sexual performance, we'll be telling you exactly how to do that as well. Again, this is the greatest gift that I could ever give you, and I'm going to be making personal videos about each of these articles, and then I will link to those at that time when I release the video. But if you want to gain access to those articles, as I said, put in your email and the articles will actually be released and announced prior to the videos. The videos will be sort of a lagging measure of that. But again, I would have given anything to have access to this information 8-9 years ago when I crossed paths with this guy, that guy Luke. Again, I would log in 100 times daily just to see if he had time to sift through his 200 other PMs, private messages amongst mine, to actually have the time to reply. This is a man, just for whatever it's worth, who by the time he was a teenager, after the tragic death of his maternal grandmother, had already independently elucidated the counterintuitive cause of heart disease, which is not red meat, it's not saturated fat, it's not even elevated cholesterol, not native cholesterol, but rather oxidized lipoproteins and nuanced other things like erythrocyte, red blood cell, phospholipid bilayer membranes, like the linoleic acid that gets incorporated in that membrane can also become oxidized. And that's why Paul Mason, for example, is coming up with this whole clotting theory. It's a little bit off, but Paul Mason is probably the closest, I would say, to arriving at this truth that Luke excavated over 20 years ago, actually. It's funny too, I went out to have a lunch with him and his family a few weeks ago, now that I'm living with Luke, and a couple other interesting things is that it would seem to be like his mind is just impervious to indoctrination. So by the time he was 4 years old, his dad actually had to have a conversation with him so that he didn't spoil the fictitious nature of Santa Claus to his brother and sister, to his siblings, because he just realized how bullshit that notion was at the age of 4. At the age of 5, he literally had to be segregated from some of the other kids in primary school because they were trying to indoctrinate them with these religious ideologies, for example. And he could just see through that. Luke has this really unique ability to take seemingly disparate dots and to connect them in a way that leaves no thread untied. So if that's something that you want, You want no stone unturned, no thread untied. You just want to know the truth. That's all I ever wanted. I wanted to know, why did this girl reject me? What was it about the way that I was interfacing with her that was utterly unattractive, if we're being honest? Why did I have a low testosterone? Why did I have really bad skin? By the way, that's something else we can help you with, is improving the phospholipid bilayer of all of the cells in your body. Why did I have bad skin? Why did I have rosacea? Why did I have all of these breakouts? Why didn't I feel good? Why didn't I feel high T? This is the map to take you from where you are now to where you want to go. So go check out Alpha Actualization right now. I will see you there. I love you very much. And until next time, my friends, find your freedom.